Hello and good morning to you. This is Cliff Graves from Trainwell Boxing. So, to inform you right from the outset, this is not a visual video, and I'll give my reasons in a minute. This is an audio only, which may well go on for 60 minutes, 1 hour. It is meant to be for a lecture. So if you've ever been in a lecture, you'll know exactly how long they can go on for. Disclaimer alert before I get going. It is critically important if you are over the age of 40 and you haven't trained in any physical way for a while, please be prudent and go and get yourself checked out by a GP, by a professional. But please do not do not do that. Similarly, if you are injured in any way, please do yourself a favor and go and get clearance from your chiropractor, osteopath, physiotherapist, or whomever. And finally, if you are ill, again, get professional medical clearance first. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm doing this audio is because I am presuming you will have a pad and pen to hand and you will be making notes. So it doesn't really warrant me doing a visual video, does it? But if you want to have a look at me, just look at any of the other 410 videos that you will be able to see on our channel. This one, Trainwell Boxing. Okay? So you might be thinking, what on earth is somebody that has an avid, fervent interest in the sport of boxing ever doing coming into the arena of tennis, specifically Padel Tennis? Because I think there are a lot of similarities between boxing and tennis. Now, as I understand it, Padel tennis is something that, most of us can get some enjoyment out of, as not as skillful, as it were, as the full-blown tennis. So the way that tennis players shuffle about the courts is much the same, identical to how a boxer would shuffle about in the ring. And boxers kickboxers, MMA, we have to have cardio involved. And sometimes road work, especially when it's raining like this, can become so oppressive, so boring. Something that you just don't look forward to. And fitness training, if you are you're a professional world-class fighter that's gone to training camp to fight for millions and millions of pounds up at Tottenham Football Ground Stadium, for example, then yeah, you've got to discipline yourself. We are more angling in this with people that have full-time jobs and, utilize boxing training as boxing training in itself just to keep fit, right? Well, the road work part of it can be extremely boring, and we have an alternative. Play for 40 minutes hard paddle tennis, and you will experience it as fun and extremely sociable. You will make friends, and it's just fantastic. You're under a roof, so you're not getting wet. In a lot of the, certainly UK paddle courts, and it's just a cracking way of fitness. Sadly, and this comes from my chiropractor, because I'm 61 years of age, so I talk the talk and walk the walk. So I know what it's like to have injuries. Okay? So my current chiropractor, he actually is a medical researcher, has told me, what would you think would be the highest incidence of injuries? I said, well, it's got to be rugby, surely. Rugby or football, or even ice hockey, surely. Boxing coming in there a close second. He says, no. The highest incidence of injury is, believe it or not, tennis. So you look at Greg Radetsky, you look at Andy Murray, you look at a lot of these really powerful male servers, Rusko Tanner, you look at all of these, and a lot of them will be jacked up with lower back issues and or rotator cuff, shoulder rotator cuff. Think of it. If you are out on the tennis court and you're a professional world-class player, Andy Murray, you're going to be out there practicing over again and again and again, over and over again and again and again and again. The repetitive nature of hitting with the racket will take its toll on your rotator cuff. And if you're tall and slender, I'm 6'1", 15 stone, so I am classified as tall and slender. If you're tall and slender like Greg Radetsky, Andy Murray, for instance, then if you're powerful, every time you do that serve, you're twisting and rotating on one side, and you are very, very, very high statistics of injuring your lower back, which more often than not will be sacral iliac joint problems a lot of the time, whereby the sacral iliac joint will just lock up. It has to protect the lower lumbar vertebrae. There's lots of muscles and ligaments all around the trunk area. And one in particular is the quadratus lumborum. And when that little bugger goes into traction, boy, will you half know it. That's what I have got at the moment on my left side. And it is really, really, really agony at times. I've had strong painkillers and all sorts. We'll come to that another time. So we have to look at this almost objectively as opposed to subjectively, in that personal recovery resistance training routines will normally have to be individualized. For example, I'm gonna give you some exercises which I think are the best of the best, and that really is to get your creative juices going and get you kind of switched on to what exercises there are available. But what I'm trying to say is my sacroiliac condition could dramatically differ from yours. You could be 5'10", 16.5 stone male, for instance, and you've got sacroiliac joints, but they are not identical to mine. So the Rolls Royce of it all, this resistance, weight training, rehabbing stuff, right, is individualized. But what I am doing here is giving you a generalized, I repeat, routine which will hopefully help you. I do this not asking for one single penny, so there is no financial gain in this giving you this weights routine program in any way, shape or form. So if you have your pad and pen at the ready, incidentally, we're moving, so we've got stuff all over the place. And this is a little home-based business. We've got stuff all over the place, right? When we get to our new place in the new year, I will do a visual video of all these exercises. Okay? So let's crack on. The warm-up should be between 5 to 10 minutes of some form of light cardio. So if you go to a commercial gym, that might be getting on a bike. That might be getting on the rower. that might be getting on the treadmill. But I train at home and I like skipping. But I'm 61, I'm 62 in July. I cannot skip like I was when I was 15 years of age. I can't do it. So I have opted for air skipping. You can buy these skipping ropes that have just got the cords either side of the handles, on the left and the right handles, but it's not attached like in a skipping rope would be. So you don't foul up, you know, when you're trying to skip. And just do any format of skipping you like. As I say, when we do the live demo video, I'll be able to show you different ways to skip for beginners and easy. So 5 to 10, there's your sliding scale. Try and get to 5 minutes. When you can get 5 minutes, and then to 10 minutes. It's meant to get you sweating. I don't say perspiring here. We don't say perspiring. We say sweating as it is. We want you to be sweating, man. And sweating good. Yes, we do. And your heart rate is elevated. Not at its maximum if you were sprinting or something like that, but it's nicely got going. Then we move on to some dynamic stretching activation drills. Now, going back to my kickboxing days, what we used to do, and it is like a lot of ballet exercises, what they do, is they're known as leg swings. So you'd hold on to something sturdy, keeping your legs straight, you would go into a split stance and you just swing like a pendulum the rear leg. Okay, don't worry, we're going to get this video up for you in time. So it's exercises like that that you need to do. You need to do some shoulder rolls, for example. You need to do some hip rotations, for example. You need to do some ankle rotations, for example. You need to do some knee rotations, for example. You need to do some neck rotations. Now on the neck, again, it's a bit of a disclaimer on this one because I don't know you, do I? And I might be telling you to do something totally contraindicated. However, if you've got a healthy neck, there is I think it's a cracker, to be honest with you. The Mackenzie neck roll. Now, this exercise was devised by a gentleman known as Robin Mackenzie. I think he is from New Zealand. And you should look it up on the internet. And it's a little cracker, but it's gentle, little movements, right? Just little gentle movements. No smashing and trying to get big and clever with it and go over and above your capacity, over and above your stretch. Gentle. Just oiling up the neck area, loosening up your shoulders. You know, that type of thing. I think for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Now we move on to the specific warm-up, which is, I would actually say, you only really need to perform the specific warm-up For exercise number 1 and exercise number 5, we're coming to that. Right? So I would say, yeah, it's just not necessary, I don't think, because you're going to be so warmed up, so your muscles activated from all the rest prior, that you're going to be ready to rock and roll and really do some hard training. So you ramp up. On the first exercise I said, didn't I? Here we incorporate something known as hip belt squats. Okay, hip belt squats. So let's just, to keep it simplistic, say that your 1 repetition maximum for a hip belt squat, that means that you can just do 1 rep on. Don't ever do that cold, by the way. Is 100 kilograms. So you want to start off, say, about 50 kilograms, knock out 10 reps, up it to say about 60 kilograms, 8 reps, knock it out for about 70, 80 kilograms at about 6 reps. Okay, and then you can ramp up singles if you like. Okay, you could have 1 single at 80 kilograms, 1 single at 85 kilograms, jump up 1 single at 95. Okay, and you're there. Your ramp up should be auto-regulated. By that I mean you should do it by feel. When you feel you're ready, you're ready. So exercise number 1 would be hip belt squats, 4 sets times 6 to 15 reps. So try and get 6 reps of 4 sets with, say, 70, 80 kilograms, using our 100 kilogram 1 repetition maximum as a guide. Okay? As you get stronger over the weeks, increase the reps. And of course, when you get to be able to do 4 sets of 15, that's when you can increase the load, the weight. Exercise number 2 is a tri-set of Gironda, Gironda, Gironda serratus dips, followed immediately by barbell power partials, finishing off with tricep dips. When I've gone through the exercises, I will give explanations of why. All right, I did tell you that this was a lecture, didn't I? That might go on for 60 minutes. So here you perform it in a tri-set, which would mean the serratus dips followed by the barbell power partials followed by the tricep dips, and you do 2 sets of that tri-set with 8 to 15 reps. Exactly the same protocol. When you could do 8 reps, up to 9, up to 10, when you can do 15. Understand? Exercise number 3 is chin-ups. Get on a chin-in bar and just chin up. We want 3 times as many reps as possible. I'll explain it all at the end. Please bear with me. Just keep writing these down. The 4th one exercise is hip rolls, and that is 3 sets of 10. And then exercise number 5 is a neck exercise where we only perform eccentrics, and that is 3 sets of 5 to 7. You still with me, folks? I hope you're. We then cool down. So your heart rate will have elevated. So you want to walk round, okay, until your heart rate returns to what your normal resting rate is. 60 beats odd. 50 to 60 beats odd. When that happens, we want you to incorporate finally some static stretching of the quadratus lumborum, the pec minor, the hamstrings, hip flexors, and neck. So let's just go through why, number 1, hip belt squats rather than a back squat. The back squat is king, without a shadow of a doubt. I like it, prefer it over the deadlift because there is a slight movement with hips, which I think is important. I think it's more functional, a back squat or a squat, than a deadlift, because let's face it, if you've got something you can't pick up from the ground, then you call for help, don't you? But when you squat, well, we're squatting multiple times a day, aren't we? When we sit in a seat or go to the lavatory or what have you. But the hip belt squats will cancel out any spinal compression, okay, which is vitally important. Vitally important if you're that tennis player and you're attempting to rehab a back injury. That's the last thing you want. Okay, that's the last thing that you want. All right, is to start loading up the spine via a barbell back squat. So the serratus dips, power bar, barbell power partials, and tricep dips. So let's take the serratus dips. If you're going to look this up for Gironda, Gironda, Gironda serratus dips. Will work and fry your serratus anterior like you would not believe. And when we have a strong serratus anterior, it helps and massively contributes in shoulder stability. Okay? And when the shoulder is unstable, that's when the rotator cuff says, hang on a minute, let me help. And that is when you'll get rotator cuff problems. Because your scapula your shoulder blades are unstable on the rib cage. Okay? The Barbell power partials is basically a barbell bench press where you do the top range, and over the first 2 weeks of doing these, and I'll tell you how many times you should train, don't worry. Doing these, you should only increase the load, but keep the top range partial, top range, not bottom. These are shortened partials, not classified as lengthened partials, shortened. You do this for 2 weeks, gently increasing the load of top range partials bench press. When you've done 2 weeks, now you increase, then for the next 2 weeks, you increase the range of motion. You probably would have to lower the weight. Okay. So using an example, if you've got 50, you're doing 50 kilograms on a top range partial. Over the next 2 weeks, we train twice a week. Over the next 2 weeks, you increase the load, which could go up to 60, 70 kilograms. For the following 2 weeks, you now increase the range of motion, which is why it's important. You need to get into a power cage, not power racks, power cage. Either at your gym or go out and purchase one. Okay. You increase the range of motion, and you might, if it's say you got to 80 kilograms when you're increasing the load. When you now, for the following 2 weeks, when you decide to try and increase the range of motion, you keep at the same weight, and that might be 70. You might have to drop it down to 70, but you go down in little increments, gently from top range, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, until you've got full range of motion. Tricep dips. Well, everybody knows tricep dips. This is not the one where you let the torso go forwards. This is where you keep the torso upright. So it's pure triceps. Chin-ups. Everybody knows chin-ups, don't they? Hip rolls. Now, for ease of reference, if you look up on YouTube, Gironda, Gironda, Gironda hip rolls, you'll see it. Okay. We've said 3 sets of 10. The important bit here is when the knees are going back towards your chest, basically, that you are concertinaing in your abdominal muscles. You are isometrically contracting. This is why you can always keep that at 3 sets of 10. In fact, 3 sets of 10, that's 30 repetitions, is hard if you are contracting your abdominal area like there's no tomorrow. The neck exercise, I would personally wait until we do our video and show you this properly, but it's with a neck harness. So you pump the neck harness on, don't you? The neck harness on the top of on your head, and then it's either neck flexion, or neck extension. This is why your neck area must be so incredibly ready and warmed up. This is the one, remember I said only do the specific warm-up ramp-ups on exercise number 1 and exercise number 5. Please do it on this one. So it's assisting with your hands to get the weight that will be too much to concentrically do this part of the exercise, say in a neck flexion, for example. You physically cannot concentrically perform that exercise, and you lift it back up into place with your hands assisting, and then you very, very gently take your hands away and just let the eccentric part of the exercise, whether it's the neck flexion or the neck extension, go into full range. And then you get your hands and you return it back up. I will show you how that is done. The walk round, because your heart rate, honestly, it will be thumping more than your resting period. You must walk round until that returns. Couple of minutes, walk round, shake the body loose. Now we do the static stretching. And there's a fantastic quadratus lumborum stretch, which you do either side for the left and the right side. It's known as the doorway stretch, which if you look on here, YouTube, for a company, there are a bunch of physiotherapists, they're called Move You, capital U, Move You, and put in stretching for quadratus lumborum, also known as QL. I will show you these, don't worry, in time. The pec minor stretch is a doorway stretch, which again we'll show you. Hamstrings. I believe to stretch your hamstrings, you should do them on your back. And then you just lift a straight leg and then pull it back, so there's a stretching sensation in your hamstrings. But I will show you how to do that. Hip flexors, lunges, okay, and then neck. Yes, but I think here with the neck, you should go back and do the gentle Mackenzie neck roll in a gentle way. No fast tempo, very slowly, steadily, gently. Now, if you do this, the whole of it, twice a week, for most of us, that will enhance your paddle tennis through the roof. And you know, I said to you right at the start, I was going to say to you about the painkillers and all the rest of it. Well, look, I mean, ibuprofen is good. Paracetamol is good. Solpadeine with codeine is good. But you can't really consistently live off ibuprofen. Day after day, week after week, month after month. because it's not good for you. So we have to look for a more natural alternative that is literally got zero side effects, and that can and could be taken day after day, week after week, month after month. And that is a product by a company called Cerule, Cerule, and it's called Psy Active. I'll put the link below for you. CYACTIV. Now, if you are interested in getting some of these, I can do you a good deal, and I can get it in for and on your behalf. Okay? And that's it. Well, I said 60 minutes, didn't I? And I've done it just over 40 minutes now. But look, people, I do sincerely hope on this rainy old miserable Saturday, excuse me, Saturday morning, that over a cuppa, sitting back, relaxing, you have gained something from this in knowledge. Knowledge is wisdom, and wisdom leads to understanding. Okay, so I hope I've helped. I hope I've helped. This is Cliff Graves from Train Mod Boxing. You have a great weekend. Ciao for now.